So this is a quick overview of how my rubber mulch has held up after about 2 years of use. One thing I do want to point out is when you do have rubber mulch, you do need to actually manually pick up these leaves and take them out. I do try to use a leaf blower, but the risk of using a leaf blower is that sometimes you will get more rubber mulch in your yard than blowing out leaves. So you have to kind of use your best judgment. Sometimes I will use at the lowest setting, but I find most often than not, I'm actually manually hand picking out some of these clippings out of the rubber mulch bed because they don't break down as well. And then vice versa, what I do find is from time to time you'll actually have squirrels or other rodent animals or whatnot that will go inside your yard and actually pick out some of these rubber mulch clippings and leave it on your yard. So then you actually have to pick them up and throw them back into your bed because this is rubber. It will not break down in your yard. So that's the only inconvenience that I have. But this is the only maintenance that you have to do with the rubber mulch. The reason why I went with rubber mulch is I do not have a green thumb. I'm not very good at actually taking care of my flower beds. So I actually paid a lawn service to build 2 out of my 3 flower beds for me. And I got to see how they do it. And I actually built the third one up for myself. So overall, I like low maintenance, and this is the reason why I went with rubber mulch. It keeps its color very well. I did used to use organic mulch, and I found that over time, after a year or two, that I would have to replace it and take it all out. With this rubber mulch, it pretty much looks almost as good as it was on day one. The only other maintenance you have to do is just like I mentioned before, just taking clippings out and then making sure that your rubber nuggets that fall out go back in. One other item that I noticed is that weeds will tend to grow out of the corners or out of the sides. So on the flower bed, and this is the one I did myself, I actually ended up using 2 sheets of fabric, of landscaping fabric, and that worked very well at keeping out the weeds on this flower beds. I do not have any weeds growing out of this one right here that is on the screen. So my recommendation is if you're having somebody install this for you, or if you're installing it yourself, I would strongly recommend 2 sheets of landscaping fabric to help reduce the weeds from growing out. Now, if you're doing this, you're probably not wanting to plant. So in my case, I actually just buy potted flowers from Home Depot and I just put it right on top of the mulch and it looks just as good. And I replace those every 1 to 2 years and makes it look nice and pretty. This is a very low maintenance option. One positive thing I can say easily is that during the winter, it just looks so cool having rubber mulch just retain its color and it just pops, especially when it snows. It's not for everybody. If you want to plant yearly, do not go with rubber mulch. It's just not for you. This is typically for the individual who just wants it very simple and basic process. I would strongly recommend that you have a raised bed similar to what I have right here so that the mulch stays in and doesn't go out. If you don't have that, then you're going to have rubber mulch in your yard, and that's a bad thing because this does not break down. Overall, I am happy with this. I bought this at Costco about 2 years ago, and if this is the type of thing that you're looking for, and you want low maintenance mulch and you don't have to remulch every year or two, I would say rubber mulch is a good solution for this type of situation, and I am happy with it. And hopefully this was helpful for any individual out there who was just interested on how rubber mulch holds up long term.